Hey guys, I'm Steve, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I like to make cutting boards. And along with the cutting boards, I like to do the juice groove and a routed handle. Now, in order to do these routed handles, I've used a base plate with some inserts, and these inserts are from Milescraft. Yep, Milescraft. So the problem is I've had these inserts probably for 20 years. But when they first started making them, the inserts were all plastic. I mean, they were great because what happens is once you put the base plate on, you snap this on and it locks into place. And then it's easy to change out these bushing kits. But it is plastic, and unfortunately, my router has tore them up, so they're no good. So I went to Amazon and I found that they have redesigned these. So they have now a metal bushing in them, and we're going to try this out and see how it works, and I'll let you know. So in order to cut these, I made a template. I made this template using, of course, my laser engraver, and of course I named it. Probably could have done a better job of setting it up there, but it's just a simple outline and then a line to center. But when I did break that bit, I tried to freehand a little bit, so this got a little messed up. So I'm going to recut this and I'll show you how to do that as well. Alright, so now we're going to make that routed template. I'm just going to start with a simple rectangle. Now I like my handles to be 4 inches by 2 1/4, but we're going to round the edges, then we're going to delete those off of one end. So I'm going to go 2 1/2. That'll give me 2 1/4 once I remove everything. So now that I have my box, I can go to Show Properties, Radius Corner. Let's do 0.125. Let's see what that looks like. That's okay. And let's see, so if you go to obscure, so maybe 0.25, that looks okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is select this, go to Arrange, Break Apart, and I only want this to route and cut this bottom piece here. Alright, so now I'll select everything and I will group that back together. So now we basically have an open box, and it is 4 by 2 1/4, which is perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a centering line, and this is going to help me when I try to arrange the template to the actual cutting board. And I'm going to make sure that they are both aligned. Now I don't need the centering block to be that large, so we'll just move that down a little bit. Doesn't matter really how long it is on this end because that's going to all be cut off anyway. So what we can do is we can just shorten that up a bit. Perfect. Alright, well, we're getting there. Next thing to do is, this is a template, so we do want to make sure that it is named. Routed handle template. Okay, and while I've got my selection tool selected, I'll select these two, and I'm just going to group those together because those are now centered. I'm going to take this and make this just a little bit smaller. Move that over there. Nope, we want to adjust my vertical spacing just so it's pretty tight. Perfect. Move that down for a second, and the last thing I want to do is add a circle up on top holding shift. I want that circle to be about 1/2 inch, and that is just so that can cut out for my pegboard. So before I do anything else, I just want to actually unselect this. I did want to put this on a different layer, so I'll put this on layer 1, this is on layer 00, this is on layer 00. We'll put this also on layer 1. group these two back together. And now we select everything. We just make sure everything is correct. And that is about it. So I'll just move this down a little bit. Now all I have to do is set up my layers. So I always like to cut last. And we're going to do line for everything. It doesn't need to be too in-depth. We just want this to be a very quick template. I'm going to make that 6,000 at 45%, and then my cut is 100 or 250 at 100%. And this is a little bit thicker piece of wood, so we're going to go 3 times. And let's just preview that. 3 minutes 52 seconds. It'll make this template. I'll save that file, and then I can route this handle anytime I need it. So that is a quick down and dirty how you can make a routed handle template for a cutting board, or pretty much anything. And then that bearing and bushing on the router will follow this line and give me the exact size that I'm looking for. Okay, so now that we have our base plate and bushing set from Milescraft installed with our bit on there, I just have it down a little bit, and we routed our handle template on and we created our routed handle template on our laser engraver. It is time to affix that to the blank. So in the past, what I've used is this Gorilla Tape. Now the Gorilla Tape I've found has been a little bit too harsh, not on the wood because the cutting boards are hardwoods, but it tears up my templates. The plywood just is not forgiving. So I found, and I reached out to this company, Hippie Crafter. They make some woodworking specific double-sided tape. They say it's good for all woods and CNC. So if it's good for CNC, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I just don't have a CNC machine, and I am doing that by hand. So we're going to give this a try and see what it does on our cutting boards. Now in order to secure this while I route it, I always just tend to use these bench dogs. I am thinking, this is my Harbor Freight woodworking bench. I am thinking of upgrading these bench dogs to maybe some standard size. I think these are a little undersized. So now all I have to do is find the center of this board. Alright, now with the center mark, all I have to do is line this template up with this center mark and that center mark. Make sure these are flush. And then we'll get our perfectly routed template. So like I said, first we have to adhere this tape. Well, that's a positive sign already. Usually I struggle with the Gorilla Tape to even separate the plastic. That's perfect. I didn't have to mess with that much at all. So now we'll center these. All right, let's see how she does. sanding, and then that is good to go. So a moment of truth. Let's see how well this releases now. Alright, it didn't mar it up too bad. And I might actually be able to reuse this on the other side here. Let's see what we could do. Now I know you're probably only supposed to get one use out of this, but when you're pinching pennies like I am, try to get all you can. Same thing as before, we just line it up. Our center line and our center line. And these are handmade, so people will understand if there's 1/16 of an inch difference from one to the other. And if they don't have to buy from you. Let's raise this bit up again because you don't want to hog off too much when you first start. Let's see what we can do. And I just wanted to quickly mention that Hippie Crafter was nice enough to send me a roll of tape for free to review. Yeah, that's the piece of that Gorilla tape that was still there, but this other tape doesn't even leave a mark. Nothing sticky, no residue. All right, there you have it. So, I like this. I like this tape. Mainly because there is no residue left on my template. See, this is where I've used the Gorilla tape in the past, and it's still stuck on there. And also my template, sometimes when I use the carpet tape, it will rip these fibers out and it really tears it up. But this Hippie Crafter tape, it does what it's supposed to do. It holds tight when I'm routing the handles, and it let goes when I pull it apart. So I was able to use this on both sides with no issue. I just have to clean this up now with a little bit of sandpaper, and I'm good to go. So if you're like me and you've used the same thing for years, just carpet tape because it's what you know, I would check out this Hippie Crafter. I will leave a link in the description below. And until next time, I'm Steve, and thanks for watching.